guys, it is Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. Got one off Ride the Lightning today. We're gonna look at Metallica's Trapped Under Ice. So this is almost finishing up Ride the Lightning. We got one more after this, and we finished that entire album. And we've already finished Master of Puppets, and we've already finished And Justice for All, and a couple dozen others. So, yep. Done a lot of work over here. Anyway, so we're gonna do this one. This is a lot of fun stuff in this. The riffs aren't overly challenging here. There's 3 solos that are completely chaotic and crazy from Kirk. So we have that to deal with, but when we're gonna get through the entire track. But before I do it, please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Ring that notification bell so you know it's a new video, and you can like and comment and watch the video because that really helps the YouTube algorithm. And seriously, guys, if you really kind of enjoy what I do on YouTube and you want to learn how to do a lot of this stuff yourself, so you don't need schmucks like me on YouTube to help you learn songs and all that stuff, click the link below. That's a link to my Guitar Academy. It's my online guitar school. You got complete courses for beginners and more advanced courses in technique, improvisation, ear training, and theory, and guitar tone, you name it. I go live there every weekend with Academy members, just chatting with them in a live stream so they can ask me questions every week. So it's a lot of fun. It's a great community. Please come join us. You get a free 7-day trial by clicking that link below. All right, so let's jump into the track. I'm in standard tuning here, and we're gonna start with this little intro, which Kirk, a little bit later, he has like this little power chord melody that he does before he goes into his first solo. But we basically have this intro, and then we have James' riff. So it looks like this. All right, so we start with just a couple hits on the low E, and then you can hit the open D and the open A together, and then you're gonna come and play an E power chord. So this is at the very beginning of the song. So he lets that E power chord ring a little bit, and then we have a couple low hits on the low E again, kind of muted hits. Then he hits the open D string by itself. Then he goes to an A power chord. So an open A power chord. Let that ring. Let's play this. So it sounds like when he's going for maybe like that, you hear that open G to the A. But you don't hear a lot of the open G on the recording, so it's just kind of like. And then we just go to let that ring, and then we come in with this, off this B power chord, off the second fret of the A string, kind of hit that kind of palm muted 16th notes real quick for like 4 of them on the second fret of the A, and then hit that chord. And then we get into the kind of So that starts with a couple hits on the low E again, and then the open A and open D, and then the second fret there on the A and the D. And then kind of do that again. But then we have this little ending, which is back to the open A and D again, and then the third fret on the A and the D hit twice. Now I see him play this live some, and James is kind of going like, comes back and hits the low E there for the 3s, but on the recording, it's this. So it's just that open A and D again. You can hit that. It sounds good, but E underneath it, but you can do all 3 if you want, just like that. But keeps doing that, and you hear Kirk come in with his little melody that he's playing with power chords here. It looks like this. All right, so that's going on over this. So that's just the E power chord here at the 7th fret off the A string. Then up to the 9th fret. Then 10. And 12. And then 15, 14. So it's just where I'm just calling out the frets where the index finger's at. And now you kind of start repeating that again, but you only make it up to the 12th fret. And then what he does is he kind of slides up here to the 19th fret. Play some 16th notes there. So. And then Kirk launches into his first solo there, but before we do that, let's take a look at the rhythm guitar part underneath it. The rhythm guitar underneath it is pretty much the verse of the song as well, so we're kind of knocking a couple things out at one time here. So underneath the first solo here, we have this. All right, so that's this riff's gonna be played a lot in the song. We're gonna start here with this. So what you want to do is you can hold the this F sharp power chord here. So you have the 4th fret there on the A, and then really when you start the riff, you can have the low E string open, and then hammer on the 2nd fret. So I have this. So you can kind of do that. You hit the chord, this two together, and hammer on the 2nd fret there. And then you have those kind of palm muted 16th notes he does with alternate picking on the low. All right, I know it's a Metallica video, so I gotta say this. There's a lot of people going, no, it's James, he downstrokes everything. He does not. He probably could if he wanted to, but he does not. He's alternate picking this. All right, so, and then we have this little power chord thing here. We have this 3rd fret power chord off the A string. Just the 2-note power chord, so 3rd fret on the A, 5th fret on the D. You're gonna take that down to the B power chord, 1 fret down. And then what are you gonna do? It goes to an A on the open, on the A string. You have the open, but you're gonna leave your 4th fret there on the D. So it doesn't go down to the A power chord. It does that. So you're just kind of holding that there on the last 3. So the open, just go to the A string, open A string, and then back to that 2nd fret there on the A, while still holding that 4th fret there on the D. And then just repeating it. So now here in this first, underneath the solo here at least, not necessarily when he plays this riff in the verse, but underneath the solo, the 4th time through, instead of doing that, you're just gonna come over to this B power chord and just gonna play that just like that. So it's just a few 16ths, and hit that chord, and then you go back to the actual riff again for the verse. So kind of all together for underneath the first solo. All right, and then we kind of continue that same riff, but before we do that, let's take a look at Kirk's solo. So now over that, Kirk comes out of those, that melody, he goes up to that note there, and then he rips into his solo. So let me play through that real quick. All right, so got the whammy, not the whammy pedal, the wah pedal on there. And so I'm gonna turn that off though. You know he's rocking that thing the entire time for all these solos. So you basically are gonna start there at the end of when that melody went up. And you come up there to the 19th fret and hit that a few times. And then you kind of launch into, so it's just, he's doing some bends at the 17th fret there on the B, over to 14 on the high E string. You kind of repeat that. And then he starts descending. And it's just kind of like a, you're just kind of really, kind of just playing 17 to 14 a couple times. And then on the high E, then on the B, and then on the G. So it's just kind of F sharp minor pentatonic. And it goes into that oblique bend. So we kind of had that, an oblique bend is when one note is being bent and the other one's staying put. So we have the 17th fret there on the B, that's gonna stay put. And then you're gonna play the 16th fret there on the G and bend that up a whole set. So we have, so out of that bend, you release that 16th fret, pull off to 14 on G, into a whole step bend at the 17th fret of the B string. All right, and so out of that, we have this kind of descending lick. So that right there is, you're gonna start with a slide into the 17th fret on the B, over to 14 on the high E string, and then you start this, it's a 4-note sequence, what he's doing. So it's a pattern. So you're gonna pick 4 notes and shift down and pick the next one down in the scale. Now this first note he plays is out of the F sharp, would be out of major, so he might be thinking, but he doesn't do it when he gets down here. It's an A natural, but here he just kind of starts it with that. So after that little 2-note lead in, the actual pattern here is going to be 18 on the high E to 16 to 14, shift down and pick 12. So that's the 4-note lick you need to get. So then what he does is he takes that and just sequences it down the scale, just staying on the high E string. So the next notes that we have with that same 4-note lick are going to be 16, 14, 12, shift down to play 10. So I have this. The next 4-note sequence lick would be the 14, 12, 10, 9. So that shift is just back 1 fret. From there, we're going to go 12, 10, 9, shift down to 7. All right, and then from there, next 4-note lick, 10, 9, 7, 5. This is not that difficult if you know like your minor scales, which you can learn at guitar lesson in my academy, by the way. You'll be able to see this stuff and just know, oh, what's that lick? And just take it down the scale. So that makes things a lot easier instead of it looking like a bunch of random notes to you. So as we get down here, we we get to the 5th fret there, and that's going to be 9, 7, 5, 4. And then 7, 5, 4, 2. So all together. Now when we get here, he starts kind of just doing them as pull-offs, but he does the same 4-note pattern at the 5th fret on the to the 4th, to the 2, pull off to the open. He does it 3 times. And he moves that into kind of a straight 5, pull off to 2, pull off to 0. So that's kind of more common to play, kind of the Eddie Van Halen type of thing. But he does add that note in here, the 4th fret there on the G, he adds it the first 3 times. But then after that, he's just going to do 5, 2, 5, pull off to 2, pull off to the open a couple times. Then he takes that lick and moves it over to the B string. Play it a couple times there, 5, 2, 0. And then he goes down to the G string and just pulls off 2 to 0 real quick. And then some little bar dive and you're done. And you can hit that kind of open G with like a pinch harmonica, whatever you want with it. But anyway, that takes care of the first solo there. Like I said, it's a lot of fun to play. You're just kind of going for it and just rock the wah pedal and you can really dig in there. All right, now out of that first solo, like we talked about, we get to the actual first verse, which is the same riff that we've already covered, except it doesn't have that little ending there. It's just straight through. So straight through just 4 times with it, and then we get to the chorus, which looks like this. All right, so that's going to start the power chord off the 4th fret of the low E, so the G sharp to the A. Then you go do that again. And then it just goes, hits the open E, and then the E power chord here, the open E, 7th on the A, 9th on the D. So this. And then it goes to this. So that's the same 4 to 5 power chord. So then a kind of quick open E hit, and then go back to the 5-4 again, power chord, and a couple hits on the low E, and then back to that 5. So this. So all together looks at it. And then this riff we did here. We do here. So it's basically did from between 2 and 3 there. So. And then back up to the 5-4. And then we have this ending. So it's just kind of the 5, 6, back to the 5. That a couple times. So all together for this first chorus. All right, so yeah, you gotta really catch the little open E hits in here. So, got a little open E hit leading into this part down there. All right, now it goes to the second solo. This is over the verse riff, same verse riff, that same. but we have a different solo here. So let me play through the solo for you real quick, and I'll show you how to play it note for note. All right, take the wah off that. So that's gonna start. I just gotta do it a trill between 0 and 2 on the G. Little bar dives on it. And then move it up here to the 16th fret on the G. All right, and then we have this. So that's gonna be slide into 16 on the B, on the G, I'm sorry, it's a B note, and then over to the 14th fret there on the B. And then we have the, he's kind of just going between 18 on the B to the 14, and then 17 on the B, back to that form. Kind of creates this little eerie quad. And then he goes to kind of a straight descending, just pentatonic. And so that's just straight descending F sharp minor pentatonic. So that's just going to be 17, 14 on the high E, 17, 14 on the B, 16, 14 on the D, I'm sorry, the G and the D, and then play 16, 14, 12 there on the A. So that's that whole run there. So it, and then he's gonna go back up like this. So that's gonna start on the 12th fret there on the low E string. So 12, hammer on 14, over to the 12th fret on the A. And then we're gonna slide 14 to 16 on the A, up to 14 on the D. So then we, so after you get there, you're gonna come back down to the A string, pull off 16 to 14, and then just kind of hammer on all the way back up. Back on the 16, and then 14, 16 on the D, 14, 16 on the G. When you get to the G there, it just goes to those double stops here at the 16th fret there across the G and the B. Kind of play them three or four times, kind of bending them down. And then go down real quick to the 14 double stops at the 14 on the G and the B. So it is. And then we're gonna end the solo. So that's gonna be sliding into 16 on the D, over to, and then 14 on the G. Do that lick 4 times. So like this. And then end it with a bend at the 17th fret on the B. All right, so that's it for the second solo. Then we go back through the same exact verse that we did before, and then we get to the next chorus. Now this second chorus has a little bit different ending to it because it takes us into this different section of the song. So let me play through the chorus for you real quick with this different ending. That goes to the next section there. So it's kind of the same riff to start. Then it just says that same ending. And then so after that same where we stopped before, we're gonna add another 5-6-5 in there. And then we have this. So it's just hitting back up to the 6, hit that a couple times, kind of palm it. The first hit is palm it, and then you let it ring, the second hit. The same thing on the 3rd fret. And then the 5th. And then we go down to the F power chord at the 1st fret. And that's kind of straight 8th notes. So I'm sorry. All right, then it takes us to the next section, which I just kind of call this the Gallop riff. There's a lot of gallops in it. Looks like this. That takes us to the bridge. So now, so this Gallop riff happens a couple times in the song. The second time you hear it, it's gonna have a little different ending, and it's also gonna be a little longer. So, but this first time through is just kind of a gallop. Down, down, up, down. On the low string. Kind of gallop. Kind of Lone Ranger stuff. So down, down, up, down, then come up and grab this G power chord up the 10th fret of the A string. And then he has this little single note riff. Now you can play it like this, but James actually plays it over here, that A, at the 5th fret on the low E string. So we're gonna play 3-2 on the A string, then play 5-3 on the low E. Then come over and grab the 3rd fret there on the D, 3-2 on the D, and 3-2 on the A. So it is. So. Then back to the gallops here on the low E. The gallop rhythm done once, and then down, down, up, down. Then to play the E power chord off the 7th fret of the A. Then down to the D. And then come over to the B flat power chord. And we're kind of doing that gallop rhythm there. So you kind of doing the gallop on the, but those big hits are just on the full power chord. We're used to do it. There we just repeat. So you just play it twice here at the beginning, and now you're gonna, when you're playing those notes, you sometimes hear some little pinch harmonics in there too. Just kind of naturally happen from digging into those notes, so it sounds good if you can add them as well. Then we get to the bridge, which is pretty simple. We're gonna play this riff 4 times. All right, so that's just this E power chord off the 7th fret of the A string, just kind of the two note power chord. Down to the 5th fret, the D power chord. Hit that 3 times as well. Then down to the C power chord at the 3rd fret, hit that twice. And then move it down to the B, hit that once. The 2nd fret there. Enjoy this. And then the little ending is just 3-2, heavily palm muted on the low E string, and then into the E power chord. So, just repeat that. So you do that riff 4 times there, and then we go back to the gallop riff. So the Gallop riff this time is going to be played 4 times. It's going to have a little bit different ending there. So it looks like this. All right, so it's basically the same riff, except that last time, kind of hold that on the 6th fret a little bit, just doing the gallop at the very end of the 4th time, and then take it down and do the same thing here at the 5th fret for a little bit. Then you start playing them straight 16th. So, and then when you start doing the 16th a little bit, it jumps into that little single note riff again. And that takes us into the 3rd solo. Now that 3rd solo, once again, so James kind of goes out of that little right into that verse riff, which Kirk is going to do his 3rd and final solo over. So let me play Kirk's solo for you real quick, this last one. Kick on the wah here. That's a pain on this pedal. And then we will, I'll show you how to play it. So here we go. All right, so more fun stuff from Kirk. So we're gonna start here with this kind of signature Kirk Hammett lick. So what this is gonna be the 19th fret on the high E, pull off to 17, pull off to 14. And when you get to 14, if you pull off, you're gonna pick it again. And then do the lick again. Actually, picking it twice after you pull off. And then you're gonna come over, after you've done this, that lick twice, come over to the B string and pull off 17 to 14. So that's really the lick that he plays, kind of 3 times. And then he goes into a bend at the 19th fret. Now the second time you hear it, just for completeness sake, because I'm kind of a dork about this stuff, he doesn't really do the full pull off from 17 to 14 on the B. You just hear him play the 17th fret on the B real quick, and then he goes back to the lick. So it's kind of like full one there. And the second time, he just plays the 17, and then goes back to the normal. So just play the same like 3 times. Doesn't really matter. Into that bend at the 19th fret there on the high E string. Then we have this. Now here, he's kind of doing something we did earlier. So you can start with the 17th fret there on the B to 14 on the high E string. And what you do is, you're gonna pull off 17 to 14. We're in that F sharp minor pentatonic. Kind of do that pull off 17 to 14, and you're picking that 14 a couple more times. So it's kind of like. So when you really get it going, it kind of sounds almost like that note's repeating. And then he does the same thing on the B. And kind of the same thing on the G, between 16 and 14. So it is. And then we go back to that oblique bend we did earlier, where we're holding the 17th fret on the B and bending up the 16th fret there on the G with it. So it is. Now this section right here is a little, it's Something like that. It's kind of a little disjointed on the recording. So you kind of, I know he starts with this 14th fret there on the G, roll over to 14th fret there on the B, and then we're gonna play 17, pull off to 15, pull off to 14, there on the B string, and then pull off 16, 14 on the G. So it is. Then he abbreviates that just slightly by just pulling off, he skips the 17 on the B string and just pull off 15 to 14 on the B, and then back down to that 16, pull off to 14 on the G. So it's kind of like, and then from there he just starts repeating the first time way of playing it where we include the 17 again. So he's kind of like, he's really repeating that lick a lot, but that second time through, he just started with the 15 instead. So we had this. So after you've gone back to the 17 a few times, then we just descending. That is not proper grammar. So we have a pull off there. When we pull off that 16 to 14 there, right there, we've basically done that lick all together like 5 times, and that second time was just a little abbreviated version. So after we've done the lick, we're gonna continue down the F sharp minor pentatonic by pulling off 16 to 14 on the D, 16, 14 on the A, slide down to 12, over to 14 on the low E string. So do that with a wah pedal going crazy, and it's a fun time. Now we kind of do this final little. So we're gonna. It's gonna start with this 16th fret there on the D. You just kind of slide into that first, and then we're gonna start picking it across. This is where the tremolo picking starts. So the 13th fret there on the G, then to 16 on the G. So from this 13, we're gonna be tremolo picking, but let me just show you the notes without the picking because that's annoying. Then we go up to the 14th fret there on the B, 15, 17, then 14, 16, 17 on the high E, up to 19, and then he just jumps up here and does a whole step bend at the 22nd fret. So. And that be the end of that one. So we've gotten through that solo. It goes back into the verse again. So same verse as before. And then we're to the chorus again, and this has another ending that is a little bit different. So let me play through that for you real quick. And then it goes to that final riff, which is just the verse. So it's kind of done twice as long now, the chorus. So this is all the same. So it's just like the first time we played it, and then it just repeats from there. And then here we have the kind of alternate ending. So it's kind of 5, 6, and it gets back to 5. Kind of the really heavily polyed, just on the low E string of that 5th fret, the bottom note of that power chord. So you do that a few times. So you do it like 3 times. And then we're just gonna do this 5, 6, 5, that same little ending, same little thing, and then we're just gonna act like we're going back like we did going into the, that we did before. And that 6 twice, 3, power chord of the 3rd fret twice, and then power chord of the 5th fret. So this was the same thing that we were kind of taking us into that first Gallop section, but we don't do this right here, where it just goes right there where we went to the F chord before. Instead, we're gonna go right back to the verse riff to end the song. And the verse riff, a little bit different ending here. It's gonna be played 4 times just to end the track. Looks like this. All right, so it's very similar. It's kind of like when we did that 4th time through the riff here. Before when we jumped over to that B power chord, kind of did 5 hits on it. That's all it is there. And then we end the track back over on the F sharp power chord. Kind of slide it down. So all together. All right, that is it for Trapped Under Ice. It is a fun one. It's got some crazy stuff in it, of course. It's Metallica, but it's a lot of fun to play. I've got one more to go for Ride the Lightning, so I'll be cracking that one out soon. All right, I'll see you guys again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.